I guess we'll get started because we only have 15 minutes. So, and we got so much to pack into this. So,
Yeah.
Tana, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, definitely. So we're if you've been following along with some of the sales live trainings that we've been doing, in our previous sales training, we were talking about sales opportunities, identifying sales opportunities, and marrying those with the marketing initiatives that we want to be able to make it successful. So Candace is actually from the Clean Crate Company, and we're kind of using the Clean Crate Company as a case study as we go through all of this. So I'm going to hand it over to Candace to kind of introduce herself and her organization as well.
So thank you. The Clean Crate Company it's a subscription box service and add-on marketplace for eco-friendly, non-toxic, sustainable cleaning products. So we deliver every 3 months a curated box of everything a household would need to get them through, ideally 2 to 3 months. So for the average family of 2 to 3 people, all their daily essentials. So everything from their all-surface cleaner to their laundry detergent, but it's all curated Canadian brands. So we brought in and we bring in larger brands, smaller brands, ones that are well-known and new to the market. And we provide a curated service. So it's a subscription box currently, and there's add-on shop options. And then, eventually as the business grows, well, there's a whole lot of other things that we plan to do, but that's where we're starting right now, especially in COVID times. It's, quite a timely business. So, yeah.
There we go. So in that last live training, what we were doing is we were identifying of how to quickly identify opportunities. So Candace's organization, there was a little bit of overstock on one of their subscription boxes, and there was a decision to be made to how can we go to a different market or to a new market. So because you're primarily B2C, you decided to try to venture into the B2B market and started to target realtors, which I think is a brilliant idea, where they can now like hand off these like welcome baskets of all of beautiful eco-friendly products that they could even personalize themselves.
Yeah.
So from there, Jazz and I kind of worked together of how to start to put together some marketing materials and initiatives to bring that all together. And then from there, going into this next live training, we started to realize, I think, Candace, you even said that you realized your market that you were primarily going after was the eco-mummy market.
Yeah.
And then you started to notice that as you were going more online, you were getting much more of a mature audience. So now we have 3 different marketing funnels that we're going to try to target. And that's where we're going to bring the lovely Jazz into this, and how we kind of approached it and started to build out some funnels.
Yes, so thank you. Great recap. So ultimately, we're at this stage where we are past the, in our process, we would be past the foundation copy. So Candace already has her website up, things have been running, and now it's really about kind of cleaning up our marketing foundation so that we can move towards growth. And I'm actually going to be talking about this more next week in my marketing training next Tuesday on kind of our hierarchy of growth strategy needs, so we understand where we need to be putting focus, and so that we can have a clear marketing goal, work towards that, and kind of iterate as we go. And that's kind of the biggest part of building out a funnel to reach your sales goals, because there needs to be flexibility. So I'm going to just share my screen really quickly. This is the right one here. So ultimately, we have identified that we have 3 audiences that we could be playing with. And obviously, with the time that we're in and the year that we've had, we actually need to be so flexible, because pivots, shifts are happening quite frequently, trying to keep up. And again, even if you are, you have a clear content strategy, your foundation copy is banging and everything's been going well, but now you're starting to see kind of things, you're kind of missing, there's loops, what am I trying to say? There's missing links. That's what I was trying to say, not loops. Missing links in kind of connecting with your audience more authentically. So, when Clean Crate first came out, we're really looking at the eco moms. So like those younger moms who are really focused around sustainability and ensuring that those values are brought into their household. And as you continue to grow, you were seeing a more mature audience. So, which is great. And it doesn't mean that like where we're at is, we're appealing to the wrong people. It's just, there's obviously a new opportunity for us to explore. So what I've done is I've basically built out 3 simple funnels based on these audiences. So obviously at this point, as because this is kind of like us rapidly going through this process to kind of support you in, in making a decision around your marketing, there's still a lot more I'd want to know about your audience. And in our process, we would really use the messaging anchors to really dive deeper into where the audience is at. So we'd actually look at all 3 of these audiences, understand their pain points, understand what that looks like externally as well as like emotionally, and how we can really support them in that journey. So at this point, we're going to just look kind of high level. So, just putting together 3 simple funnels, we're going to say that our mature audience, they're more on Facebook. And that's kind of what we can observe already of kind of where they're at. Our younger eco moms, they're much more on Instagram. That is like the platform for eco moms. I love it. And then for LinkedIn, we're going to be connecting with our realtors. But there's also an opportunity for connecting with our realtors in Facebook groups. So I've added that suggestion there. So ultimately, what these funnels simply look like is that we're focusing on visibility. So we want to get Clean Crate in front of more eyes. So at this point, it's really about making sure that we're giving them enough information to understand if you are the right brand to move forward with. So our Facebook ad is going to be very targeted towards that audience. We're not going to use a generic ad for all 3 audiences because they're obviously going through very different journeys and are at very different stages in their value journey. Our eco moms are going to be a lot more at the consideration phase where they're like, okay, I know that I need to find cleaner products. I just need to find the right platform to access them. Whereas our mature moms might be like, oh, you know what? I never considered that, like, these Clorox bleach wipes are actually causing like, an allergic reaction, or like, the smell is horrible, and starting to realize in their journey that, okay, maybe I need to find another solution. So that alone, just understanding that pain point of where they're at, we can use that in the copy of the ad to move them towards a sales page. So what that sales page would look like is kind of bringing them through the process, what it looks like, the pricing, maybe some testimonials, and giving them an option to either, obviously we would love for them to buy right away, but as a visibility campaign, because we're just trying to understand where we're at and who is kind of biting more. We're going to give them an option also to opt into the email list so that even if they're not ready to buy right away, we know that they're curious enough that we can target them when we're ready to get them through the next stage of the sales funnel. So, if it was something that we kind of wanted to just quickly iterate on, maybe this first iteration of the funnel is, they receive an email and then within 24 hours, it's like, actually, we have this incredible 24-hour deal. Like we noticed that you didn't click through and we want to make sure that like, you're getting your first box for like X amount, or we're giving you like a freebie add-on kind of thing. And you can decide what that offer is, again, depending on the audience. And then this is something by building out just a simple funnel like this, we can start to understand, okay, well, if we think our yummy mummies might buy a little bit later, what does that offer look like? And what is kind of the goal? How many do we think we can expect to see? How many sales we can see come through that? Whereas for the mature audience, we might expect them to buy a little bit more quickly because that's kind of the pattern that they've been seeing. Now you'll notice that so this is the Funnelytics. This is the app that the application that I use for building out funnels, because it just makes it so much easier to visibly look and be like, okay, does this make sense? What pieces can I add? Is there upsell opportunities? It's a great place to play before you actually start laying out exactly what your campaign looks like, and then you can build on with the copy. So for here, you'll notice for these campaigns, the solid lines are basically like, that's our visibility campaign. That is our organic traffic driver. And then let's say we're going to do this for 30 days. And let's see how it goes. We're going to do a post every day that kind of helps people get through this funnel. And we're going to see what the engagement's like. So maybe we're going to set a metric in our scorecard that's, how many clicks, or maybe we even want to start with impressions. So like, how many people are actually seeing this? How many people are clicking through? How long are they spending on the sales page? So maybe it's a bounce rate. How many purchases are going through, and then how many new subscribers, for example. That might even be too many metrics, but you'll want to identify what are the key things that you need to know in order to know if this is a valid funnel that you should optimize, because then at that point you can decide to invest in actual ad spend to work towards, pumping up and optimizing that funnel and iterating as you go. There's no harm in playing with the campaign as you go and like doing A/B testing as well. I feel like I got too excited and like went ahead with just those two campaigns. But I also wanted to mention the realtor one because this is a different kind of approach. So we have a sales kind of page, a landing page that leads them towards making a purchase for our moms. But for realtors, maybe the connection that we need to make with them is a little bit of a longer sales journey. So maybe what that looks like, it's actually getting to schedule a call with you so that you can talk them through and you can build up that relationship and kind of understand where they might be experiencing different challenges. And this is a great opportunity for you to also do basically an avatar interview. Not only are you scheduling in leads, but you can also get them on a call to dive deeper into where they're at in their journey. So you can apply that to the funnel and your marketing messaging. So yeah, that was a lot of information in like 10 minutes. But these trainings are so quick. But Candace, I mean, your initial thoughts, does this resonate? Does this make sense to you? Is there anything, you have questions? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say from what we've done already, like you're spot on in terms of how to approach those audiences and which medium to use. I think as a small business owner, it obviously, we've tried different things and we've tested different things, but actually having those defined funnels and the metrics, and just to sort of be able to follow through and see where we're being successful. At this point, we've kind of just done like a big splash of things, and sort of where there's been bites and leads, we've kind of continued more. So I really like this sort of targeted strategy. Yeah, and I'd be definitely curious to see what your thoughts would be around ads and copy and like taking it to that next level, like once you have this funnel in place. I love it. I think this is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, no, like we can totally, we'll have to dive into like another call now, like just talking about kind of like how we would approach the strategy of like, what kind of copy would we want to use, and understanding where they're at again in their journey. And that's why messaging anchors are so important in the start of any journey. Because we really need to understand where our audience is at in order to actually authentically build connection with them through copy.
Totally. Is a sales page, is that the website sales page, or is that the sales page on the social media platform?
So I guess my language should have been more landing page.
So the website.
Yeah, so basically what we would do is on the website is we would build out 3 separate landing pages that are specifically targeted to these audiences, so that they're not just aimlessly scrolling through a page trying to look for the information that applies to them. It's like, bam, they land on the page and it's speaking to exactly the pain points that they have to help them through the customer journey and get them to the
Brilliant. So, brilliant. We haven't done that yet. I have heard that. We've sort of been in conversation around that idea before, but we haven't built that. I would be very curious to see what that looks like and how that would work.
There's a lot of strategy that's involved with that, right, Jazz? And that's the difference between, our team is a team of content strategists. They're not just copywriters. There's so much more. They're building out the strategy. They're understanding the business for the clients, so that they're able to create that copy that's really aligning and inspiring the audience to take action.
I love that.
Great.
Does anybody have any questions about like identifying how you would like build out the funnel, how you would relate this back to your sales goals? Any questions around metrics that you should be tracking in order to kind of loop your marketing and sales back together? Just open floor.
Yeah, what were those 3 different starting points on the realtor stream?
So the visibility aspects would be LinkedIn, like a LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
Or it could be a LinkedIn, like maybe you could even do drip messaging here. I think we talked about this actually last time, but that would be like a separate funnel that I would build out. And then also Facebook groups for realtors. So we've identified that there's enough realtor groups on Facebook where they're connecting to access resources or trainings or opportunities where there's an opportunity to come in and actually and place yourself in there. And then once we kind of have understood what side is maybe working better for our realtors, we can understand which platform to invest deeper in. And my prediction is that LinkedIn would probably be where we would see more success. So that's probably where we would want to invest when we're ready to move forward with ad spend and basically optimizing that funnel.
Oh, right. So you're kind of doing a comparison between LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yes. Yeah.
of where we would find those realtors.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, and with visibility, like you can play. When you're focused on visibility, it's about understanding how do I get my product or service in front of as many eyes of my targeted audience as possible. And that can mean playing with different platforms. And again, this is why I love kind of our growth strategy model, is because and this is something that I say is just like what everyone should do with their marketing is play with it, iterate until you find what really works. And A/B testing is also great for this, so that you could, like we've even, you could even take the approach of testing two very different kind of messages towards our realtors. So maybe like, we've identified that one of the core challenges that they're having is that like, they themselves value sustainability and want to find a way to implement it into their career. Whereas maybe, another is kind of like they can't really think of a unique, maybe like gift idea or something like that.
Or they just run out of time.
Yeah,
Right.
or they run out of time. Like those are two very different messages that we could use, and we could A/B test those on the same platform and see what gets more engagement. And after 30 days, once we kind of have like, okay, how many clicks per kind of like message did we get? And this doesn't even have to be paid messaging. This is just even organic. And like it just making sure that it's getting in front of the right eyes. And then once you're able to track where did you see more clicks, then you can think, okay, well, if that messaging is working, let's go a little bit deeper into this and let's try an ad, or, and then let's kind of bump up what our metrics would look like then. And then ultimately the goal is that we're relating how many purchases we want from that. Let's say at 3 months, we have a clear understanding that funnel is working. We can really bring it back to our sales goals. So if we can be like, okay, well, we've seen X amount of sales in 30 days based on organic traffic. If we put X amount of money and it doubles up to this many sales, that's XYZ amount in my sales goals. That's now covered just from a visibility campaign. So yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I get excited about these things. So just want to make sure.
I received a 7 a.m. voice recording this morning talking about how excited she was over these funnels.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, this is great. And Jazz, when we're talking about like the different campaigns, that visibility to the engagement, to the conversion, to the retention, I know that for next month, we're going to be talking a lot more about this in our blog, correct? Of identifying what stage that we're at. And that what's not so much where we're at, but where the organization is at, so that you can change up those marketing initiatives to increase engagement, to increase conversion, to increase retention, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do a live training on this in March as well, to walk everyone through kind of how do you identify where you are at, if you need to focus on visibility, engagement, conversion, retention, and then what that might look like, for your agency or your business. So yeah, that's a big focus next month.
Great. And then as far as those brand archetypes, that's something that's a really great exercise. There's a blog on the site about that. And there's a potential for a live training on digging deeper into that as well, that we're thinking about doing for this month. So again, that's going to help to align and to get your messaging anchors really clearly defined.
Messaging anchors. Like that.
Awesome. This is really helpful. Sorry, you can't really see me right now. I'm at my mom's with my sister's baby, but yeah, this is really great. I was very curious to know what a marketing funnel was. So I had no idea, and this is like very beneficial. So I appreciate it.
Jenna, what is it that you do?
So actually, there's a friend and I, she actually was supposed to come on this with me, but she had got caught up doing something. We were just like creating an apparel company with our own designs on t-shirts and crew necks. And then I also started 5 months ago as a vintage reseller. So that's like my main, I've been meaning to do that for like 5 years now, but I'm just kind of playing. I just made an Instagram. I was on Depop for a while, but I've been playing around with like the Instagram promotions and stuff with that. But mainly this training was for our side, like t-shirt apparel business. So Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have some, if you want to jump onto a further call with myself, we could do a little bit of like a mini strategy session, talk about your needs and what it is that you're wanting to do. And we can kind of help you and go from there if you're interested in that as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like when were you thinking?
No, that's up to you. I believe we're going to be sending some emails out, correct, Jazz? We've got our
We
own marketing.
sure are.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe I can get like Sonia, my partner, on as well, so we can all chat about it. That would be lovely.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. And is it Rafi, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah, Jaffe.
Jaffe, my apologies. Because you were here last time. I'm curious how everything is, how's everything going on your end? Because I guess we saw you in last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Your
Well,
website.
I have two businesses, and one of them is being a writer, and this is my writer name that has popped up on the screen. It's kind of, I might have chosen my other name. But in my writing business, I'm studying book marketing, and it's kind of different in a way, but of course it's the same as well. And that's kind of what's really interesting, to look at how the two different things line up. In book marketing, it's all about getting emails, and some people get like a lot of emails. Maybe if you got like 100,000 emails when you go to your launch, you might be thinking of selling a couple million books. Whereas if you've got 100 emails, you might be thinking of selling 50 books, which obviously is not enough money to make the whole enterprise worthwhile. So that's what the whole of the book marketing is geared towards. But I'm also doing PR and marketing for businesses, and in that area, it's much more similar to the kinds of things that you're talking about. Though at the moment, I'm focusing much more on creating websites, which I guess is kind of a part of your business, but maybe not the central part, hey?
No, not necessarily. We actually have a unique 3-step approach to content. So we begin with identifying those messaging anchors, so that our content strategists, now that they've got a clear defined message and that clear defined audience, we're going to be able to take that information and start to create conversion copy. So in that first step, and Jazz can speak to this a little bit more, it's really defining where the content is going to be going, and the, like, it could result in a sitemap, or it could result in defining that landing page, so that we can move into the next step, which is your foundation copy, and creating that strong foundation copy, your evergreen content on a website, to move into growth strategy as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to, like, again, jump on a call, take everybody through exactly how we go about approaching content, understanding where you guys might be at, and how we can work, because we work with both direct clients as well as agencies.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, we also have, it's not something that we talk about a lot, but in terms of like supporting, so like, let's say, even this is applicable to both direct clients and agencies, because if you are doing the website development, or maybe you have a developer that you're giving the copy to, or if you're a direct client, often, like, sometimes you could be doing you're inserting into the template yourself, and there's so many areas to consider. We actually also help with laying out the content in a way that it can actually be like handed off to a developer, or just like implemented into a template, so that it eases the kind of back and forth, or like stress of the developer taking the copy and like applying it in like the layout that the client would want. So we also support with kind of like the SEO aspect of that, and actually where all the imaging would go and all the alt text, and actually making websites accessible, because often it is so easy for us to forget that accessibility is like a huge part of what needs to come through on our website. And that is obviously in the design and development, but also in the copy. And those all integrate, obviously, of course, because I feel like these are like the kind of the pyramid of like the copy, design, development, they all need to be working together in order for websites to be as effective as they should be. So there's also that aspect that can be navigated as well in our process. Just a little add-on.
Great.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I love that.
And we'll be
Thank
working
you.
with Candace on a number of these live trainings and kind of seeing the way the evolution and how this is all going to help and assist with the organization throughout the next couple of live trainings, guys. So definitely tune back in. I look forward to talking to each of you. I'll definitely be in touch, and we'll see about setting up an appointment.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
then.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.